Audio record. Thank you.
So no Uganda. All right, so in this second session, it's the nitty-gritty of what Scrum is, and it's the foundation of the classes moving forward. So here, what we're trying to accomplish is to understand Scrum values and Scrum theory, to understand what a Scrum Master responsibilities are, to identify inputs and outputs of each Scrum event, set up a Scrum event calendar, recognize our Scrum events responsibilities, and what we call artifacts applied to their team. So what do we see here? Vicky, what do we see? Sorry, I keep calling. What do we see in this picture? What do you take away from this picture?
I see a team of probably a football team or two separate teams probably trying to reach for the ball or get the ball. I see maybe a referee, he's probably trying to take note of what is happening. I see guys, like teamwork. I see people trying to probably do defense or, something like that.
All right, that's a good observation. The key point is teamwork. Peter, what do you see? You're cutting in and out.
Like maybe teamwork, like rare fun. Yeah, teamwork.
All right, good. That's a good response too. Stacy? Stacy, what do you see? Okay, Samantha, what do you see?
I see people doing some observation, like to see what's next, what's going to happen when they're doing their work, like the referees on the sides, in addition to the teamwork that's there.
Okay, thank you. Damali, what do you see?
Strategizing.
Strategizing.
How to win, yeah.
All right, I think you've all become Scrum Masters. We don't need to go further. So
Etho, we have another Etho on the call as well.
Yes, yeah. Yes, Etho, what do you see? Etho, can you hear us? All right, let's proceed. So those who answered, teamwork, trying to observe to see what's going on, that those answers are correct. So basically, this is a game of rugby. But what I actually didn't know that rugby is called Scrum. That's where the foundation of Scrum began. That's where it started from. The name Scrum was derived from rugby. So if you understand this picture, you will understand why they're going to pay you so well. So it basically shows a team working together, teamwork, towards a common goal. The term Scrum comes from, as I said, from rugby, and the team uses sprints. So if you see the way the rugby game is played, so people keep running back and forth, right? People keep looking back. As I said, rugby is trying to apply empiricism to be able to look back, inspect, see what is happening, and be able to adapt whatever event whatever is happening, be able to incorporate it in their plans and work as a team towards a common goal for a win. So that is how Scrum works. So basically, rugby is Scrum. And that's where this whole agile mindset started from. You have a team that is self-managed, that is cross-functional, that works together to be able to achieve a goal through short cycles called sprints.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So sprints are like time frames, right?
Yes, exactly. So sprints scheduled timeframes set aside for a team to deliver a particular requirement of software. So for example, for the company that I work for, our sprints are 2 weeks. So if we get a particular request from the customer, from the stakeholder, work on it for 2 weeks, and within those 2 weeks we should be able to deliver. At the end of the 2 weeks, that Friday that ends the 2 weeks, we should be able to deliver or demonstrate what we've done within that short period. So those are that is what a sprint is called. I mean, that's what a sprint is. As I mentioned, Scrum basically relies on the Scrum guide, which I posted in the drive. It's a framework that guides the Scrum team to deliver products in short cycles using empirical methodology. So like you're building a house, you're going to build a house in phases. And that is what Scrum is. It helps software developers build an app or whatever it is within short cycles. We don't want to go back to the waterfall project where we plan for a very long time and without incorporating any changes, any feedback from the stakeholders. Scrum builds software in small sprints while incorporating change, and we add on to moving forward. We incorporate change and build on what we've already worked on previously. So in Scrum, you're always enabling feedback from stakeholders and continuously adopting change from them. I hope that's a bit clear. So this slide is just basically showing you the Scrum guide. The latest one is to 2020. It's in the folder. And it's also trying to show you Scrum is a framework that helps the team deliver products in short cycles, which I've mentioned, called sprints, that enables fast feedback from the stakeholders at the end of the 2 weeks. You're going to demonstrate whatever you've built to the stakeholders and be able to adopt change for continual improvement based on their feedback and rapid adaptation to change. The team should be able to be open to change. So Scrum is based on 3 foundations. That is, one major foundation is empiricism. Empiricism has 3 pillars. So as we mentioned, empiricism is the ability to be able to look back, inspect, be able to incorporate change, and you move forward with building whatever you're trying to work on. So the 3 pillars under empiricism are transparency. As a Scrum Master, you should be able to promote transparency. And you as a Scrum Master, you should be transparent enough. What do I mean by this? If a stakeholder comes to your team and requests requests you to show them where their product is, you should be transparent enough to be honest. You should be able to say, hey, this is what we've built so far. These are the issues we are facing, and this is our plan moving forward. Do not cover up anything. And as a Scrum Master, you're going to promote inspection. Your team should be able to look back. What did we do wrong in the first sprint? What did we do wrong in week 1? And how can we improve that? So you're always inspecting your work, allowing feedback, and being able to incorporate that feedback into your work moving forward. That is adaptation. So these are the 3 pillars that guide Scrum Masters to do their work. Some of the Scrum values that we have is the courage. A Scrum Master should be courageous enough to stand their ground and be able to talk about whatever they have to communicate. So for example, if I joined this particular company that they were using a waterfall method, it's a medical company that tries to build applications that enable hospitals to store their patient information virtually. So they were doing this in a traditional method. The way they were building the app was not giving them value for money. So they're trying to improve their revenue by incorporating Scrum. And that's why they brought in so many Scrum Masters. So I was assigned 2 teams. One team was, a little bit soft. The other team was full of men, they had their egos and they just wanted to work in alone. They never wanted to do, they never wanted to work in teams. They didn't know anything about Scrum. They just wanted to sit, plan, and do their coding, and no feedback. They don't report to anyone. So here I am, I come with my logos. I'm like, hey, you're going to start Scrum. You're going to use the Scrum framework for this particular team so that we can build the RI rewrite application. The first backlash I received was the person called the project manager, who's the person who's a voice or representation in the business side, someone who's constantly, in talks with the stakeholders, with the hospitals. This person shut me down immediately. But I had to be courageous enough because I knew why I was hired. I had to be courageous enough to stand my ground, to be able to introduce my Scrum principles to the team. So for example, you try to tell them what's wrong, but in a polite way, but while being courageous enough. So you're going to receive, you might receive a lot of backlash, but at the same time, you should be courageous enough to tell them what your job is and to guide them through. So with that, by me being courageous, I was able to turn their mindset from the waterfall method, and they've now adopted the Scrum and our team is doing well. Then as a Scrum Master, you should be able to promote respect, respect for yourself, respect amongst team members. So, team members work and everybody has a different character, everybody has different egos. So being able to promote respect is very key in promoting teamwork. I think people should be open. We should be open-minded. We should let the team be open to express their views. So they will probably tell you, hey, I don't understand your accent. Like, okay, yeah, I understand, I have an accent, but yeah, I'll try to speak audible enough, right? Or, hey, this person does this and that. They should be able, you should create an environment where every person is able to express their feelings. Because remember, part of Scrum is to inspect and adopt. So after the 2 weeks, there's a ceremony called a retrospective, where people talk about their problems. Maybe Rachel was rude to me. Rachel was mean with her code. I was unable to get into the repository. So someone should be open enough to talk about what problems they faced. And you as a Scrum Master, you're going to create that environment. It's a safe environment for people to express their views, to be open enough and be able to discuss solutions to their problems. Then the team should be committed to completing the software to be able to achieve the goal that was set. And you should always make sure that the team is focused. There are so many distractors, but you as a Scrum Master, you're going to try and prevent those distractors. So this is the fun part. This is basically the life of a Scrum Master. If you understand this, Vicky, you're good to go. So what happens? What is Scrum? How does Scrum begin? So if you look at the yellow bulb, ideas are gathered. So the stakeholder will come to us and say, hey, I want you to help me build this app like Facebook.
I don't know about the rest, but can you just zoom in a little bit or make it a little bit bigger? Okay, thank you.
So for this yellow bulb, the stakeholder will come and say, I want you to build me an app that looks like Facebook. It should be a social media app where people post pictures and do this and do. So this is the gathering idea. You're gathering ideas. At this stage, you're just trying to collect ideas of what the app should look like. right? And then the team, that is the stakeholders and other, business or top management, will try to develop a vision of what the software should look like, or whatever project should look like. So once you develop a vision, so for example, my vision is to enable, so my vision is to probably, okay, so if I'm building an app that can connect homeowners to students that need housing within people's homes, right? That need accommodation within people's homes. So I'm building an app that can, I'm building an app where a student is able to search a home that can offer accommodation to them. So that is my product vision. But how am I going to build this app? Remember, I'm trying to connect the homeowners. I'm trying to connect the students through this particular app. So I'll probably want homeowners to be able to, one, list their prices, their location, should be able to, give the app should be able to accept pictures of what the homeowner's home looks like. And then also the student should be able to have their part on the app where they register, have login details, be able to message directly the homeowner, right? So probably that is what we call a product backlog. A product backlog is a store of some sort that entails how this app is going to be broken down. So for example, I want the interface to look like this, I want the back end to look like this, and I want maybe the middle part to look like this. I want you're sort of giving high-level summary of features that should appear on your app. I want a portion for the homeowners, and I also want a portion for the student, and I also want a portion that accepts credit cards. That is your product backlog. So it's a store of ideas of what should be entailed in your particular application, right? So once the business people have developed that, they come to your team. A Scrum team comprises of 3 people. The Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is the lead of the team. The product owner. The product owner is the Kayungiris, is the voice of the stakeholders, these guys who gathered the ideas, these guys who developed the product vision. The product owner is their voice. The product owner owns the product backlog. The product owner owns a breakdown of what the app should look like. Is that clear? Am I too technical now? Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Okay. So the Scrum team comprises of a Scrum Master, which is us. We are going to lead our team. It has the product owner, who's the Kayungilis, the voice of the stakeholders, the guy who keeps the product backlog.
Hi, Ethel.
Yes?
I just wanted to remind you, we have 5 more minutes, but also we have non-Ugandans on board, so Kayungirizi might be a little bit very far from what we understand.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, so the product owner is the intermediate person, the intermediary between the people who develop the ideas, that is the stakeholders, is their vision. It's the product owner is the person who is the custodian of the product backlog. And then we also have the developers. The developers are the people who are going to actually code and build the software or the application that you're trying to develop. Okay, so the Scrum Master is going to guide the team to build the software following these ceremonies. So part of the ceremonies that you need to know is what we call the sprint review, sprint retrospective, sprint planning, backlog refinement, and daily stand-up. Sorry. Okay. So the Scrum Master on an everyday basis, is going to check in with the team through a ceremony that he leads or she leads called the daily stand-up. Once the product owner tells the team, introduces the team to what the application is going to look like and what the stakeholders like, that is in the sprint planning session, the team will then take on the work in bits that are called sprints. So for example, most companies use 2 weeks as a sprint. So they'll probably say, okay, for this particular 2 weeks, we are going to build the portion where the students are able to log in. So once the product owner describes what is needed, the software people, the development team, will go on and work on that for 2 weeks. That is called the sprint planning, where the product owner tells the people what we need to build for those particular 2 weeks. Then as the sprint starts within 2 weeks, every day the Scrum Master is going to check in with the development team. Hey guys, what did you do today? What are you planning on doing tomorrow? And do you have any blockers? Those are the 3 questions you're going to ask for 15 minutes every single time, every day within the 2 weeks. That's it. So you identify the blockers and be able to guide the team on how to stop those blockers. Okay? Then as you do that, at the end of the 2 weeks, they will then come back in a certain ceremony called the sprint review. In the sprint review, you're demonstrating what you've done within those particular, the development team. You as a Scrum Master, you're going to facilitate this. You're going to guide the team to demonstrate what they've built to the stakeholders. And the stakeholders will be able to determine whether that is acceptable or not. Then there's another ceremony that the Scrum Master does. It's called the sprint retrospective. In this ceremony, the Scrum Master is going to try and incorporate, you're going to create openness, respect, and a flow and a safe environment where people are able to talk about what happened within those 2 weeks. So for example, I'll probably say Rachel was very helpful with her code, or maybe I was not happy with so-and-so, I was not happy with so-and-so, maybe we didn't have this, we didn't have a developer that was proficient in a certain skill. So we are able to identify what was right, what went wrong, and what can we do to improve. That is the sprint retrospective. And whatever decisions you make, you should be able to carry on those changes into the next sprint. So the cycle continues. Every 2 weeks, the product owner is going to give something, is going to ask the team to build something until the product is complete. Is that clear? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what Scrum is. Any questions?
I just want to say thank you because this was a very good presentation. I'm learning something new as well.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I'll give the floor to our people who are here to study. Guys, feel free to chime in.
The daily stand-up reminds me of in my previous life, we used to call them hurdles. So it's interesting to see that even the world out here uses them. We would reflect on what we did yesterday, what went wrong, and what we'll have to do. So yes, along the way, I began seeing familiarities in some of the things we did, though this is like in a new world. Yes, it's now beginning to seem clearer or clear. If I begin from there.
Perfect. Any other, does anyone have anything else to say? Is this clear? Has this given you an insight of what a Scrum Master does or what Scrum is all about? Peter?
Yeah, me, I'm still processing, but yeah, so far so good.
Okay, Samantha?
So far, so good.
Stacy, is this clear?
Stacy is having problem.
Okay. Damali, is this clear?
Still processing.
Still processing. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was an, sorry?
Thank you. It's been
You're
a good presentation.
You're welcome. So this is a brief overview of what a Scrum Master does. Tomorrow we are going to dive deep into each of these ceremonies. This is what they ask in interviews, and once you get to know this, that's it. You'll get a job. We'll then try to dive deep a little bit more technical, but this is simpler and it is applicable in everyday life. I think you've made some of these things, you know, in your previous work experiences. I promise it's going to get better. All you need to know is, you know, what is entailed in each of those ceremonies. How do you use the tools to track, you know, some of the metrics that come out of these ceremonies? So yeah, with that, I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's session, and we shall start from here tomorrow. I'm going to drop this in the back in the Google Drive. If you cannot access this material, please do let me know so that I can, you know, give you rights, I think.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Me too.
So tomorrow is gonna be the same time.
Yes, tomorrow is going to be the same time at it's going to be the same time at 8.
So I'll be sending in the links, right?
Sorry? Yeah, I'll be sending the Zoom links.
Oh, thank you.
And probably I'll change my location for better lighting.
Thanks everyone. Thanks team. We don't want to hold you guys when it's late because I think it's 9:30 your end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but thanks everyone. Thanks for attending. We wish you all the best on this new journey, and thank you for trusting RemTech with your career. How do you say it? Advancement.
Good night.
Good night. Take care.